in terms of music, then, women or not, we were talking a bit about Autotune and how artists are using that a bit more. Is that something that we feel is good or bad, overused, overcooked? Not cooked
So Vocaloids.
not cooked enough.
Listen. I had an interesting conversation recently with one of the guitarists in the Raven Age, Tony, and he likened Autotune to like playing Call of Duty, and like someone has auto aim on, so they can just. It's just easy for them to just like. I mean, for me,
that's quite a good one.
I said it's too hard. Two different things. You can't really relate
Disagree.
them. But it's I didn't agree with that personally. This is just something that I heard.
I might have to agree on that one. Still, big up Tony in the room. Yeah, all tight Tony.
Disagree.
But yeah, what are your thoughts? Why do you disagree?
Because it depends how you use it.
That is what I was gonna say as well.
If you're a songwriter and your voice is all right, but not big enough to be a main feature on a song, and you need to get an idea down, or if you can't sing and you just need to write down it's a phenomenal tool to enable you to do that.
But I don't think Tony's saying that there's anything wrong with that. Having the auto aim on, you get it bang on. There's nothing wrong with that. I think use it.
But it's slightly different, isn't it? It like I don't really play Call of Duty, so I couldn't really compare myself.
Yeah,
but
I mean
it's like anything, bro. It's like FIFA 2 button. If there's any FIFA
But
players,
the thing,
Two button.
no. But the thing,
shout out to
Anyone
Regis.
who plays 2 button, and then shout out to Charlie Regis. Retire now.
oh, bro, we gotta get him on.
Yeah,
He has some
100%.
stories.
Storyteller.
Talk about stories.
But on a serious note, he's not. I don't think like if you're for whatever reason your voice is not where you want it to get, and you need that little extra tweak to get it there.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a little bit of a cheat code, but there's nothing wrong with it. Your voice is gonna sound better for it. Like, why not?
Yeah, I think his thing is that it's cheating basically.
Yeah, but I mean,
saying, is it bad to?
But what's the problem with
Tony? What are you saying?
What's the problem with the? I mean, if you're trying to say you're an amazing singer, is one thing. If you're trying to say listen to my song, is another. You know.
Yeah. I'd
Yeah,
agree.
for me again, it's about how you use it. There are artists who their whole sound is auto-tune, and personally that's
T-Pain.
not T-Pain. That's not my flavor, and for me that kind of kills it because there's nothing natural about it to me. But then there are artists who use it to add a little bit of flavor, a little bit of sauce here and there, and it sounds really good to me. So again, it's a personal.
Funny thing is, T-Pain can sing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can actually sing.
I've heard him a cappella, and I'm like, this guy's unreal.
Yeah, for years I thought he was like dead.
Yeah, unreal.
If someone
See, for me, that's a downgrade when he uses the auto-tune.
Having said that, using autotune live is a skill. It's not easy to just. It doesn't just work. If you use it on the chromatic setting, it's not easy to just hit bang on.
Yeah.
If you set it to like this each time the scale, then a bit easier. But you know.
So someone who's killed it on a few tracks, R.I.P. as well, because his music's dead now. Kanye West. Kanye West absolutely smashed autotune on a few of his tracks where he perfected the sound and it made the song sound better.
R.I.P. because he's dead now.
Bro, his music, come on.
I love
like,
it.
Oh, please.
He's a dude.
I'm not gonna lie.
He's a G. And he's a
love
musical
that music
genius,
video.
and as a producer, he's god level. But
businessman as well.
as a businessman, god
you
level.
brought out a white T-shirt, no? Plain white T-shirt. So the 150 quid, people buying that.
Everything he
Bro,
does
next
line-
sells.
Could've got that
Everything he
from
does
anywhere.
bangs.
Music
He
and
does
more
smash it.
music and more merchandise.
Trust me, come and see.
Just
Get the beanie.
But what if you get someone? Let's talk about like pop music, right? Take someone big like Adele, for example, right? Say she's releasing like she's a great singer, releasing all this music, hit music, and making loads of money and all this. And then if you found out that she wasn't as great as people think she is, and she's using auto-tune to help her sound amazing, how would you feel about that if you found that out? 'Cause, I mean, that's not the case, but I'm just for people, I'm sure it is.
If it was Adele, I'd be heartbroken. I know it's not. It's just.
Oh, she was using the thing.
But
If you find out that camera needs reset.
yeah, again for me, it's if that's the way you're using it, then not my flavor.
Yeah, but is it acceptable? Do you think that's acceptable?
Right,
I
of course
think
it is
anything's
acceptable because people have freedom. They're allowed to do what they want when they
I think you can
create music.
Yeah, I think you should be able to do whatever you want to do. But but I know what you're saying. Like I listen to some rap music, some stuff, and I'm like, if it's not actually about the auto-tune, it's like the mumble kind of rap where the beats are banging. I've got no idea what they're saying, but they're riding it kind of hard. I'm like, this is good, and then I get somehow. For me, it does not feel any crevice for me. But I'm like, people, look, it's like 50 mil view. I'm like, how? But if you're in that environment, people listen to it. It's a vibe. You sink into it with everyone else. So I don't think,
For me,
and then it's just big drop. And then they go on stage and they're just like running around, like the backing track's playing, and they're like throwing like cakes into the crowd.
Yeah, it's just energy. Trust me.
But again, it's a show. So is that acceptable? You're not actually playing your own music. Like I could do the CD at home.
You're right. I guess it's the scene that you're in.
Do they use any type of auto-tune in metal?
Oh wow, good question.
I've never heard it before.
I don't know. I haven't heard it before.
That's new sound. Screaming into the autotune.
Even like mixing and mastering, like you have to polish the voice of. So at what level do you say that's too much or not enough?
There will be an element of pitch correction.
Yeah,
I think in all music there's going to be
actually the only artist I know that doesn't use. I mean, I'm sure there are some, but the only one I know doesn't is Beyonce.
Yeah,
and Ravs.
You know her personally, huh?
Ravs, you big up.
That's why he
just
thinks.
try.
That's what
pure genius.
I didn't tell him.
Wait, she doesn't use pitch correction or auto tune
either.
How do you know this?
I've spoken to her mixers.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh nice.
None. All of
Introduce me
it.
someday,
The thing is, when you got a voice that strong.
Yeah. No.
Everything lock off.
I mean, bro.
So
Not only that, you've got the perfect mics, the perfect surroundings, perfect everything. I mean, like it's also almost tough not to make a good sounding vocal.
Yeah. What if I went in there and did it? You never know.
Yeah, what you gonna say, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit off track, but comparing this generation then to a generation that weren't even able to use that.
The 90s R&B?
Dude, soul back in the day, like
Soul.
Aretha Franklin, etc.
Oh, mate.
Oh, unbelievable
different
vocals.
level.
Yeah.
Are you mad?
Level. Yeah.
And the recording equipment they had back then wasn't as good.
About to say everything was one take.
Yeah.
Everything was right.
Yeah.
We've only got 2 tapes here, or 1 tape, and we got to make sure it happens now. Like different level.
But nowadays, I guess anyone can be recording anything and making it sound good. You know.
I quite like that though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad
like
thing.
that.
I'm just saying, like, you get that back in the day, people who had the talent were like making it, doing well, and people who didn't weren't getting anywhere. And then you people nowadays can do anything.
Go on, James.
So which is not a bad thing.
No, so again, linking into this, for me, I have more of a connection to more music from older generations because it sounds more natural, and I don't know, for me it sounds a little bit more real.
Which generation are we talking about?
So even older stuff from the 70s and Bob Dylan and the Beatles and other artists who don't use as much stuff.
Absolute ninja going on over there.
And there are still artists who do it nowadays as well. But for me, as soon as things become very worked on, they kind of lose feel for me a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I'd agree.
You're not a fan of the sound then?
No. But I mean, again, it's always personal. It's always what sounds good to your ears.
You're talking like singing, like pop music singing, or just in general, like that. If you've got the auto tune on.
More about the singing, because beats wise, I'm happy to listen to stuff that has 1,000 layers to it.
Yeah.
Which you didn't have back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more on the vocal side.
Yeah, I don't know where I was gonna go with what I was thinking, right? But
it's always a good start.
It's basically what I'm trying to get at is that back in the day, right, there wasn't as many people, right, I don't think, pursuing the music and getting their music as far as they wanted.
Yeah.
Right? So now you've got bare people with so many things that are accessible. Like maybe before, if you were like really good, all the attention goes to you, everyone else gets washed away, and all the attention comes to you. Yeah. But now everyone's doing it, and everyone can be noticed. So I think that, I don't know, like what I'm saying in it, but like, but that
it's much harder to make it, like in general, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
To make or to break through.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think in theory, yeah. I don't know.
Irrespective of auto tune back in the day, if no one had it,
Yeah, I mean,
then-
but that comes down to also being able to produce just on a laptop.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
comes
that's
down
it. The
to-
technology
yeah.
has-
Actually, that's where it was.
Yeah.
If you have it back in the day, you have it. No one else can overshadow you if they don't have it. Now you could have it now. Someone else might not have it, but they can creep up because they've got some tools and that.
That is
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
maddest
no, I agree
statement.
with that, I agree
What?
with that.
No.
You lost me
Yeah,
entirely.
no,
You hear what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Those
I
are
know
bars
what
from
you're
Rav. He's
if
gonna
you-
get
if
them
you-
down on
if you were
track.
like- if
Bro,
you were like
we
70
love-
years ago as a singer,
Right.
right, and you're a good singer, you're a
Mhm.
good singer. If you're not a good singer
Yeah.
and you're trying to be a good singer,
Yeah.
it's
Mm.
not. It won't work. Now,
Never gonna happen.
same two people put now. The person who's not that good, put on a few flashy clothes, get them on TV, market them right, and get the auto tune on.
Oh.
They could overshadow the other person, but you couldn't do that.
Bro, look at
Simon
half the charts
Cowell.
now. That's exactly what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
man. Sorry, I
That's,
got you.
does that make sense? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
I was like,
100%.
this guy's just speaking. I haven't got a word what he's
Yeah.
saying.
Gassing, bro.
Yeah, man.
But what you were saying about it's harder to
Breakthrough.
break through now.
Mm.
I think it's a bit of both, because back in the day there wasn't as
Tough to
much
get
of a
out.
platform.
How do you?
Yeah.
Record,
you could-
recording
yeah.
sessions in itself.
You could
is-
never do anything by yourself if you did not get signed to a
Yeah.
label, if you did not have someone do something,
Mm,
and then people have smashed it. ASAP Mob,
mm.
Boy Better Know, whoever else is out there doing it by themselves with their own label. It's motivate people to do more things by themselves.
Yeah.
So I think it's more difficult because there's
Yeah.
more content, but it's easier because there are more people in it, and
Oh,
there are more
100%,
ways to get it out
100%.
there.
I was just saying more about the auto tune kind of thing, but definitely,
But then you can
what
link
you're
it back to
saying.
like the sync button in DJing. Like,
Love
do,
it.
do you think it's we love a bit of sync?
yeah.
Like
Loves it.
I'm all for anybody using.
Tell them people who
Yeah.
don't DJ what you mean.
Yeah,
like,
So,
go on.
on.
When
in the
you
most basic, yeah.
yeah, so when you have a DJ controller, which is a little bit of kit that you plug into a computer to play your music off, and on some decks they have it now as well, to beat match the two songs, so they're playing at the both at the right BPM and in time. You just press sync and it does it for you, so it lines it up. It's
Oh.
a useful. Huh?
Alternatively, what would be the
You'd be
the
manually
way?
beat matching,
you
so
have
you'd
to
be
Okay.
spinning
spin it,
the jog wheel slightly left
Yeah.
and right.
Okay.
Now, in terms of learning, I think in fact, actually, period, I think it's a great tool. I think if you have the technology there, use it. Why not?
Mm.
Do I use it? Not really. Did I use it? All the time. And
Mm.
that is why I feel like I progressed as much as I did, because I'm not a scratch DJ. That's totally different. Where but your inability to transition from one song to another should not hinder your capability of your chance of learning how to construct a night, or
Yeah.
how to blend, or what songs blend well together, or ways of doing that. And over time, as long as you're intending to learn to do it, it can happen. When I put my mind to it, it took literally a couple of weeks. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it took a bit of
Yeah.
time, and okay, yes, I was a drummer before, so it helped. But
Yeah.
and some people, it takes a lot of time to
Mm.
learn, and because hearing is
Yeah.
tough when you really need to listen to which one is
Yeah.
knowing which track is forward and backwards, which one's too far
Yeah.
in front or whatever, which one to spin. Yeah, it's tough, but I'm all for it, and also it's a great tool for if I'm playing live now, and if I want to go, if I want to have two songs, if I have one song that is like playing at 120 and one that's at 110, and I want to go from I want to have them both playing at the same time and then slow them both down to 110, I can hit sync and do that with the fader,
Mm.
and it will sound in time rather than
Yeah.
manually trying to do it. And
It's
I mean,
difficult.
which is tough. I could still
Yeah.
do it. I mean, it'd be so much tougher, but I have the convenience there.
Yeah.
Nobody in the crowd is going to
Yeah.
know that I'm using sync.
I think that rolls into like what you're saying. Is it acceptable to do it? As a DJ perspective, it's probably like if you know how to DJ, don't press that button. But
Well,
as
if you won't need
yeah.
to. If you know how to beat match, you won't
No.
need to. But ultimately, what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
you should. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but no one should be relying on it if they're looking to do it. You should be using it as a tool and using it as a learning step to go forward. If you
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
just want to keep using it,
100%.
that's all fine. But know that you're going to have limitations. If something
Yeah.
goes wrong, you're not going to know what to do to fix it. And
Yeah.
ultimately, you need to be prepared for anything
Yeah.
when you're
Like
on
if you're going to
stage.
use auto-tune, at least try and get your vocals sounding
Yeah.
as good as they can.
Exactly.
You know, take after take, get it sounding as good as you can, so as minimal, correction as
Yeah.
possible.
Or accept that's your sound.
I think that's
Accept
Yeah,
that's you.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
try and go out and say I'm going to be the next Beyonce when you know your voice isn't like that. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
We're in
yeah.
we're in an age now where you don't need to be a good singer to be number one. You don't need to be a good anything.
Mm.
You don't need to be a good musician. Period to be in the charts.